On October 31st, 1993, Hollywood was forever changed after one of its golden children, River Phoenix, died outside the famous Viper Room nightclub in Los Angeles. It has been 29 years since the tragic death, but many fans still remember him for his natural talents and rebellious charm. Phoenix acted in some of the most iconic films in the 1980s and got a cult following for his views on fame, shunning the spotlight, and being vegetarian and connecting with an audience. Although it was common knowledge that he took drugs, the overdose was still a shock, as Phoenix was just 23 years old at the time of his death. Phoenix's parents, John and Arlen, were traveling hippies who joined a cult called the Children of God when River was only 3 years old. According to the many sources, the family traveled extensively, and some of their beliefs included sex without boundaries as being a form of love. Apparently, as a child, River was sent to busk for money as the family needed cash for food. At the time, their surname was Bottom, and it has been reported that Arlen and John changed the family's name to Phoenix as a moniker to symbolize their rebirth. River said that he was sexually assaulted when he was 4 years old, and his father John had problems with alcohol. As a result, River felt obligated to look after his family. Phoenix and his siblings all began acting as children. His first TV job was on the set of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers in 1982. In 1985, his breakout role in TV film Surviving put him on the acting map. In 1998, he received an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for the film Running on Empty. He was soon called the James Dean of the 1980s, and with his blonde hair, blue eyes, bad boy habits, and vegetarianism, he quickly had a loyal fan following. Although he was a cultural icon when he was alive, his death further cementing his place in Hollywood. He shunned the spotlight, which he gained after his impressive performance in Stand By Me. He simply wanted to be anonymous. He also starred Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade in 1989. Fame was not an ideal that he had sought out. His mother told Esquire that he believed her son was going to be the cult's missionary in order to change the world through the mass media appeal. The death of Phoenix outside of the Viper Room in Los Angeles is one of the most historic moments in the entertainment business. On the night of October 30th, 1993, River, his girlfriend Samantha Mathis, his brother Joaquin, then known as Leaf, and his sister Rain were spotted at the well-known club owned by Johnny Depp. According to Mathis, she did not know he had been on a drug binge and he wanted to stay at the club. She was very uncomfortable. His friend Bob Forrest wrote in his 2013 book Running with Monsters that River had spent days doing drugs with Red Hot Chili Peppers guitarist John Frusciante. Mathis said he was dead 45 minutes after they got to the club. She said he started convulsing, and by the time he was taken to the hospital, he was pronounced dead. The official cause of death was an overdose by speedball, which is a dangerous mixture between cocaine and heroin mixed together. The actor had a big impact on multiple celebrities when he was alive, including Ethan Hawke, who's now 51, was friends with him, and in an interview about Phoenix's death, it impacted him greatly. He said he never moved to Los Angeles because he felt like it was dangerous for an actor like me to be in that kind of climate. In an interview, also done by Keanu Reeves, who's now 58, said he hated talking about Phoenix in the past, and he felt you got to keep it present. The actors starred together in My Own Private Idaho in 1991. Reeves said his friend was fiercely creative, thoughtful, and brave. Friends knew that River Phoenix had been abusing drugs, but his fatal overdose still came as a shock to many people. After all, the actor appeared to be turning the corner. He reportedly stayed sober for 2 months while filming the movie Dark Blood in Utah and New Mexico. Sadly, when he returned to Los Angeles in late October of 1993, he almost immediately went back on a massive drug binge. Tragically, this would culminate in his death outside the notorious Viper Room in 1993 on Halloween night. At the time, the Sunset Boulevard venue was partly owned by Johnny Depp, so despite its divey and dingy reputation, it was a haven for celebrities to escape the limelight and kick back like civilians. It also allowed them to take drugs without fans or paparazzi chronicling their benders. But Phoenix's death cast a dark shadow on the Viper Room, which haunts the venue to this day. To see such a promising young actor die so suddenly was heartbreaking, especially for his loved ones. That fateful night, a bouncer had escorted Phoenix outside the club, where he instantly dropped to the ground. Much to the horror of his siblings and girlfriend, he started going into convulsions. Though his loved ones quickly called 911, it was already too late to save him. Despite his untimely death, River Phoenix left a huge mark on the world, not only as a talented actor, but also as a passionate animal rights activist and environmentalist. But before Phoenix entered Hollywood, his early life was a humble one and quite unconventional. Born River Jude Bottom on August 23, 1970, River spent his first days on a farm in Oregon. But he didn't stay there for long. His parents, John Lee Bottom and Arlen DeWintes, were known for their nomadic lifestyle and financial instability. As the oldest of 5 children, including Oscar-winning actor Joaquin Phoenix, River had perhaps the most bohemian childhood of them all. Unfortunately, his childhood was also full of trauma. In 1972, River Phoenix's parents decided to join the Children of God cult, led by David Berg. The group would later become famous for its widespread sexual abuse, especially of children, and while the Phoenix family reportedly left before the abuse became rampant, River later said that he was raped at the age of 4 while his family was still active in the cult. While working as missionaries for the controversial group, the family shuttered between Texas, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and Venezuela. As for River, he often played guitar and sang on the streets for money. As a young entertainer, he was also expected to pass out information about the Children of God group, around the same time as when he was allegedly endured horrific abuse. By 1978, River's parents had grown disillusioned with the group and returned to the United States. They soon changed their last name to Phoenix, converting to veganism, and moved to California. There, River started auditioning, which led to the appearances on television. But it was River Phoenix's role in the 1986 movie Stand By Me that really got Hollywood's attention. Before long, he was starring in other major films like 1988's Running on Empty and 1991's My Own Private Idaho. By the early 1990s, he had become a Hollywood star, and albeit one with a serious drug problem. Sadly, Phoenix's death in 1993 wasn't a complete surprise. By then, the actor was already a common sight at drug-fueled parties. At the time, his parents and 4 siblings were entirely dependent on River's success. Meanwhile, he was also wanted to ensure that his younger siblings were able to get the education that he would never able to receive. Little did the world know how much pressure he was putting on himself. On top of all of that, Phoenix was likely still grappling with traumatic memories of being involved with a cult at an early age. While he rarely spoke about the Children of God in public, his mother once quoted him as saying, "They're disgusting and they're ruining people's lives." Whether he rooted in trauma, stress, or the deadly freedom of celebrity, Phoenix eventually turned to cocaine and heroin. Sadly, these 2 drugs would spell his end at the Viper Room. In the weeks leading up to his death, River Phoenix had been filming the movie Dark Blood in Utah and New Mexico. But since he wasn't needing for a certain night's shoot, director George Lutzer allowed him to return to California. I'm going back to the bad town, Phoenix said. He returned to Los Angeles on October 26, 1993, and according to his friend Bob Forrest, Phoenix then went on a massive drug binge with John Frusciante, the guitarist from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Rivers stayed with John for the next few days and probably didn't get a minute's sleep. Forrest wrote in his book Running with Monsters. The drug routine still stayed pretty consistent for all of us. First, we smoke some crack or shoot coke directly into our vein for that 90-second electric brain bell jangle. Then shoot heroin to get a grip and come back enough to be able to carry on a conversation for a few minutes before we'd start the cycle again. On the night of October 30th, 1993, Phoenix and his girlfriend Samantha Mathis arrived at the Viper Club. 2 of Phoenix's siblings, Joaquin and Rain, were also in attendance. While Joaquin and Rain didn't notice anything unusual, Mathis had a feeling that something was off with River. "I knew something was wrong that night, something I didn't understand," she said. "I didn't see anyone doing drugs, but he was high in a way that made me very uncomfortable. Just a couple of hours later, he would be dead." At one point in the night, Mathis took a trip to the bathroom. When she came out, she witnessed a bouncer shoving her boyfriend and another man out the door. At first, she thought the 2 men were fighting, but then she saw Phoenix drop to the ground and go into convulsions. Horrified, she ran into the club to get Phoenix's siblings. Joaquin then made a heart-wrenching 1991 phone call, which was later leaked to the press. "He's having seizures," he shouted. "Get over here, please, because he's dying, please." Meanwhile, Rains tried to stop her brother from thrashing around. Sadly, River flatlined before help arrived. He was officially pronounced dead at 1:51 a.m. An autopsy report later revealed that the promising young actor had died from an overdose of cocaine and heroin. There were also some traces of Valium, marijuana, and ephedrine found in his system. After River Phoenix's death, the Viper Room temporarily closed in his honor. Heartbroken fans soon flocked to the venue to leave flowers and handwritten tributes to the fallen actor. Though the nightclub eventually reopened, many regulars said that it was never the same again. River Phoenix has left a notable void in Hollywood. From his fans across the globe to his famous friends, everyone felt a visual loss. Even younger talents like Leonardo DiCaprio, who were shaken by the news. In a strange turn of events, DiCaprio actually saw Phoenix in Hollywood on the same night that he died, just hours before he left this earth. "I wanted to reach out and say hello because he was the great mystery and we've never met," said DiCaprio. "Then I got stuck in a lane of traffic and he slid right past me. But while he wasn't able to talk to Phoenix, he did look at his face. He was beyond pale. He looked white." But of course, those most affected by the death of Phoenix were his devastated family members. His brother Joaquin recalled having a difficult time grieving, as the paparazzi often harassed the bereaved family. Certainly for me, he felt it then impeded the mourning process. Right, Joaquin said, adding that he soon began to think of his late brother as the ultimate inspiration for his acting. I feel like in virtually every movie that I made, there was a connection to River in some way, and I think that we've all felt his presence and guidance in our lives in numerous different ways. For those who followed Joaquin's career, it's no secret how closely he holds his older brother's memory. After winning the Oscar for Best Actor in the 92nd Academy Awards in 2020, the Joker star offered a tribute to his late sibling during a touching speech. When he was 17, my brother wrote this lyric. He said, "Run to the rescue with love and peace will follow." Though nearly 3 decades have passed, 29 years since River Phoenix's untimely death, it's clear that his memory lives on, especially in the hearts of his loved ones. May his family continue to find Celeste. May River rest in peace. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to comment, like, and share this video for people who may have not known the great legacy as well as the unfortunate stories behind the untimely passing of the late famous River Phoenix. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Have a great day, everyone. Happy Halloween. Until next time.